Find the length of the sides to the nearest hundredths, or the measure of the angles in the kite KITE. Okay, so in this part A, since we're given the lengths of some diagonals, we know nothing about angles. So in this problem, we're just going to find the side lengths of this kite. Okay, and we're going to use the diagonals in order to find those side lengths, since no information is actually given about the side length themselves. Okay, so we notice that the diagonals cut this kite into different triangles. And this is really important because we're going to use this fact. As if you notice that the triangle it actually being cut into is a right triangle, because we know that the diagonals of a kite are perpendicular. So we have this right triangle right there. Also, we know that we have two pairs of congruent sides, so therefore we only have to do two calculations, and then the other two sides are congruent to those two that we find. So in this right triangle that I just marked, I see that one side length is 2 and the other one is 6. And those two are actually legs. So we're going to try to find the hypotenuse of this right triangle. So let's set up an equation with Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to have 2 squared plus 6 squared equals x squared. So let's work it out. So 2 squared is 4, plus 6 squared is 36, and that's still x squared. We add the two together, so we have 40 equals x squared. We take the square root of both sides. If you punch that into your calculator, you will get that the square root of 40 is equal to 6.3, thereabouts. So that's one of our side lengths. So let's put it here on the side. IT is one of the sides that we just found, equals 6.3. But also we know that this is congruent to ET, so ET is also 6.3. So now we can find KI, for instance. It doesn't matter if we find KI or KE, and then that means we have the other side length. So we use this other right triangle. So this time we have the side length of 2 and 4. Again, we're looking for the hypotenuse. Let's call it y. So let's set up the equation. So we have 2 squared plus 4 squared equals y squared. So again, this is 4 plus 16 equals y squared. So add those up. 20 equals y squared. You take the square root of both sides. So if you punch that into the calculator, this comes out to 4.5. Okay, so that was KI. And so therefore we know KE, and that's also 4.5. Okay, so we have found all we can for this problem. So let's move on to the next problem. And in this problem, we are given some angles. So we know nothing about the sides, therefore we're not going to be finding anything about the side lengths. So let's do the angles. So remember, in a kite we have one pair, exactly one pair of congruent angles. So the other congruent angle is I. So I and E are congruent. So therefore we know that I is also 124. Okay, and again, this is a quadrilateral, therefore we know that if we add up all the angles, we can set it to 360 and then solve for our missing angle. So it's angle K, so let's call that X. So let's add them all up. So we have 124 plus 32 plus 124 plus X equals 360. Okay, so we need to add up the three angles that we know. Okay, those add up to 280 plus x equals 360. So we subtract 280 from both sides. So we get x equals 80. Okay, so that's all we need for this problem.